Madam X here, everybody's favorite undercover agent. And let me tell you, I do some of my best work undercover. Just joking. We have some of the best Saturday matinee trailers to show you from theaters coast to coast. And for all you monster sci-fi fans out there, we have interviewed some of the stars from the Flashback Weekend conventions. We also have a rare clip by the Von Rippers and some really cool artwork from some of you, our viewers at home. And last but not least, our feature presentation, Zombies of the Stratosphere, starring Mr. Spock of Star Trek fame, Leonard Nimoy. Yes, Mr. President. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, uh-huh. And the message is?
Mars needs women.
I gotta take this call. Roll the film, please. Mm-hmm.
Aircraft is now less than 50 miles off the coast and still on a course which will bring it close to this city.
Is there time to intercept it with your rocket?
No, at the rate that ship is traveling, it'll be out of radar range before we can get off the ground.
Unless it lands.
Then ground defense will handle it, Bob. Unless Mr. Steele thinks we can help.
Yes, Larry, I do. It is the duty of my department to handle all matters menacing world security. And you're one of my executives. I realize that your work has usually been in the interplanetary zone. In this case, I think you ought to take charge, both on land and in the air.
Very well. I suppose the regular defense network has already been alerted.
Yes, they're standing by until we see what that ship's going to do.
Help me on with my flying suit, Bob. We may have to get into action in a hurry.
Prepare for a landing.
Aircraft has just disappeared from the radar screen as it was passing over the Morongo Hills.
It must have landed somewhere in those hills.
Probably. I'll fly out there and try to find it.
Good. You can get there quicker than the ground forces.
They picked you up on radar. The whole country's looking for you.
That was to be expected. But if we transfer our cargo quickly, we can get away before they locate us. Help him with the boxes. Get in the back with Shane. Come in, Larry.
I just spotted that rocket taking off. I can't possibly catch it, but I'm going to check up on what happened where it landed.
Good. Keep us posted.
Okay.
What's happening there? Someone's on top of the truck. I'll shake him off.
Run under those trees and knock him off.
This side door will take us right to his laboratory. Nobody will spot us.
Very well. What are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be delivering those plans.
Yeah, I know, but we got a better deal here.
What are you?
I am Marx, a native of the planet Mars. Perhaps not quite a human being by earthly standards. However, I can assure you that my people are much further advanced in intelligence and scientific achievements than you Earthmen.
Well, what are you doing here?
For some time, I've been in contact with your assistants, Roth and Shane, making arrangements for a project I'm undertaking here. I will need your technical assistance and the facilities of your laboratory.
And why do you think I'm going to help you?
Because I'm in a position to inform your government that you've been selling atomic secrets to an unfriendly foreign power. The results of such an exposure would be much more unpleasant for you than the alternative I'm allowing.
What is this project you're planning?
The orbit of our planet Mars is so far from the sun that climatic and atmospheric conditions there are much inferior to those on Earth. But in spite of these physical handicaps, my people have developed a means of correcting the situation. So my mission here is to plant an H-bomb explosion sufficiently strong to send Earth spinning out into space and leave room for my own planet.
That would mean the destruction of the world and everyone on it.
That need not concern you if you are safe with us on Mars, unless you would prefer to await the event in a federal penitentiary. I will give you a list of what is required. And while you're obtaining these items, I will go to the cave and get the basic construction started. Is that the last of it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now I have another assignment for you. Dr. Harding has learned that a freight shipment of uranium will be passing through this area today. The train of local freight will stop at Corrala Junction about 2:15. You and Shane will take over there.
How many men will be on it?
I'm not sure, so you better make arrangements for additional help. Now, it won't be safe to stop to unload the uranium at the junction. Take the train out into the hills somewhere between the junction and Gomez Siding. Find a good hiding place for the uranium. We'll pick it up later with the truck.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to be caught with that map on you. Burn it.
I'll start lining things up.
Very well. I will be in the inner cave. You can report to me by radio.
Right. That does it. You're all set to go.
But that truck may be miles away by now.
Not too far. The signal from that radio sending unit I planted on the truck is still coming in strong. All I have to do is fly down the beam.
So far, so good. Let's see what the infrared light brings out.
Why, it's nothing but a railroad map.
Yes, with the section between Peralta Junction and Gomez Siding underlined.
Which means what?
It could mean something's going to happen there, so we better try to find out what. We've got a lot of country to cover, so we better split up the job. You two go to the junction, check on things there. I'll start at Gomez Siding and follow back up the line.
Isn't that Bob on top of that freight car?
Yes, when we got here, those men were stealing the train. Bob jumped on it and tried to stop them.
Any way to stop that train?
No, my key's out. They must have cut the wires after they slugged me.
There's the brake. Can you fix it?
I can fix it, but it'll take time.
Maybe I can catch them in a car.
Not much chance. The road only gets another tracks in a few places.
Is that old tank working?
Yes, we just unloaded it for some farmer who's gonna make a tractor out of it.
Maybe I can cut across country and stop that train.
You'd better try. If it keeps going, you'll crash it through passenger train head on.
Time to that brake wheel. Use those. Luck in loading a car of uranium with that thing chasing us. Yeah, we better forget it. Make our getaway while we can.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Fanfare, please. The Von Rippers.
Stevens, and you're watching Scary TV.
Super Shocker number 1, Dr. Macabre's Frightmare of Movie Monsters. Imagine seeing almost all the screen's scariest monsters alive, in person. Hunchback of Notre Dame, Teenage Frankenstein, Daughter of Dracula, The Fly, a man's body, a fly's head. Rodan, the flying monster, the colossal beast, and more, many more, never here before. Plus, Super Shocker number 2, Spooks A-Poppin', a thrilling new idea in spook shows. We double dare you to see this double header of super monstrous, superhuman, super shockers, in person on the stage.
Welcome to Scary TV. I'm your host, Suzanne, and what a way to begin the program except with our scream queen, Brink Stevens.
Howdy.
So how long have you been doing screaming, I guess?
My first movie was in 1981 for Roger Corman called Slumber Party Massacre, and it was right during the slasher phase where they needed a lot of pretty women to scream and die horribly. So it was the first time that I ever screamed in a movie, took a shower scene, died at the hands of a maniac driller killer, and it, unbeknownst to me, this first film set the tone for my entire career. I've been doing it ever since.
Now, how did you get into screaming? I mean, that is an unusual genre, if you will.
Yeah, it expresses the terror. Like, your scream has to tell a story. And in fact, in Slumber Party Massacre, you don't see my death on camera, but my scream tells you what's happening. And then, so that becomes an expression, and somehow they call us Scream Queens because we're the ones who do that.
So generally, the actress is not the one screaming, it's actually you.
Well, I have dubbed screams for some wonderful people. I dubbed for Vicki Lawrence and for Linda Fiorentino. I dubbed her scream in a movie. So I did kind of be known as the best scream in Hollywood, and if they needed a voiceover scream, then they would bring me into the studio and I would scream for other actresses. So it's good to be known for something.
How was doing your first real scream on a movie? What was it?
They took me out to the parking lot, and I had to scream over and over and over into a tape recorder until they got the perfect scream. I'm amazed that nobody called the police because we were shooting on a abandoned schoolyard, in Santa Monica, California, but no one did. And at the time, you have to remember, too, that I had come from San Diego and I had gotten a master's degree in marine biology. So I was trying to find a science job in Los Angeles, and I walked by a casting office. They put me in a movie the next day, and I had not even wanted to be an actress. So to suddenly enter this world, I feel like my career chose me. I didn't choose it. Now I've done over 120 movies. And I've gone from playing the victim, because ideally women should not be the victim. I don't like to be portrayed that way. I like to be the strong one. And they found out there were so many more interesting things to do with me than to kill me. So I would become the villain at the end of a piece. I might start out normal, and then halfway through I'd get possessed by demons, or I'd go insane, or I'd turn into a vampire. And I would finish a film as the villain, kind of a Jekyll and Hyde switch.
Oh, wow, that's really something.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds.
So you started screaming in the very early 80s. Now, we've had screaming going on for, a good 50 years beforehand. Who would be your icon from before you started, of course, because now you're obviously the best today, but who were you interested in emulating? Were you interested in anybody, or who was the best before you started?
Well, obviously Fay Wray would have to be the first known screamer in history when she's menaced by King Kong. Mostly my inspiration came from comic book characters. I grew up reading Vampirella, Modesty Blaze, Wonder Woman when I was very young, and they were all strong females and kind of on the dark-looking side. So they were my role models. It wasn't really actresses, although in high school I loved going downtown to the theater and watching the Hammer horror movies. I was in high school, and they were so beautiful, those women, and I'm like, wow, I want to be that. I want to do that. Not that I aspired to act, but I wanted to be a vampire.
we've had terror movies, even back in the silent era, okay, and I just saw Nosferatu last night, which was definitely worth seeing. If you could dub into a silent movie, who would you like to be, who would you like to scream?
Oh.
Any thoughts about it?
No, yeah, of all the silent actresses, Mary Pickford is my favorite, but I can only imagine she was so sweet and beautiful, and her scream would be like, eek!
Could you do one of her screams?
Yeah, eek!
Okay, there we go.
Oh, I love old movies, and some of my favorites are like Portrait of Jenny with Jennifer Jones, and Laura with Gene Tierney. Wonderful movie. If you guys ever get a chance, rent the older films.
Very good. Are you going to scream during our fest? Because we want.
No, I'm trying to quit.
You don't?
I'm trying to quit. Yeah. It upsets people.
No. What has been your last scream?
Actually, in the last movie I did, it's called Z-Line. We shot it in Kansas City. I lose my voice, my vocal cords at the end of that movie, so I can't scream. And it's ironic because look like I'm a soccer mom at the beginning of the movie, and it starts with a scene with me and my 15-year-old goth daughter and my businessman husband. Then I get a phone call, and I'm like, yes, sir, I understand, sir. My ETA is 45 minutes. Turns out I'm a secret government agent, and I'm sent to hunt this creature where everybody it bites turns into another mutant monster. So I get bit in the end. So the very thing that I've been trying to kill, I'm going to turn into at the end of the movie.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and it bites me in the throat.
Ooh. Well, it was wonderful having you on our show. Thank you so much, Brink. Again, Brink Stevens on Scary TV.
Now, coming on this stage in person is the most amazing mystery man of all time, Houston, and the original Houston's Hallucinations. Starring the girls with Hex Appeal, Joyce Harris, Kathy Bard, Sherry Winters, Cindy Curtis. Girls, girls, and more girls, dressed in the most daring designs Paris has to offer. And if you want mystery, witness the unbelievable Flight to Outer Space. See a girl without a middle, and the weird and unusual Burning of a She-Devil. See all this and more in Houston's Hallucinations, coming on this stage soon. Extra, extra, the first time on any American stage, see the talked-about girl in the topless swimsuit. It's sexational.
Hot dog.
Hot dog? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The hot dogs at our concession stand do rate an appreciative whistle.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of these. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white puffy material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for watching Scary TV.